Long ago, in the year 2010, two very young teenagers meet each other in a comic book shop for the first time.
Oh my god. Wolverine and the X-Men. Ugh, I hate the art. I'm still gonna get it anyway.
Oh my god. This Marvel event that took place in 2010? Ugh, another crossover?
Isn't that the worst? Hey.
Oh, hi.
Is that your poll? Is that what you're getting?
I call it my sub, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, this is what I'm getting here. Look at these. Some Y the Last Man, some Wolverine and the X-Men, some Invincible. I like to spread it up between, Marvel and Image and some other places. How about you?
Gee whiz. I have the exact same... Did you call it a pull?
Yeah, my pull list.
Yeah. I have the exact same pull list, except for Invincible, which we've established on this show I've never read before.
Show? What?
Sorry,
Anyway.
I don't know what came over me.
Wow, you don't look a day over 19.
I'm 16.
Oh, wow. Well, I am 17, and you can tell by my long, luxurious, full head of hair.
I feel like you're like me, but, like, evil.
I am. My name is EvilJeff. What's your name?
My name is Brett. No adjective.
All right, I get it. How about, I think maybe you and me, I think maybe we should team up and kill straight people.
Cool. I was thinking maybe we would try having awkward sex, and when that didn't work out, maybe we'd start a podcast about comic books.
You know what? That sounds fun too. Let's do it.
Fun.
Da
All
da
right.
da 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 da. Boom.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 113 of Comic Book Queer's Legacy. I am Brett, the old version, and with me, as always, is my old co-host, EvilJeff.
Hello there. Would you like some burgers and originals?
I can't hear you. What time is it? Well, people always want to know the time, right?
Can you imagine if we were teenagers in 2010?
Oh my God. I would be so young right now.
But I also feel like I would be miserable.
I
think
what with the internet? No.
Yeah, I think like me and like being a teenager in social media, if I had to live through that, I don't know how they do it today. I don't know how you kids do it. Oh.
If I may be so old for a second,
Sure.
There was something about not being able to read comic books unless you went to a comic book shop and bought the comic books. That smell, just being in there, the other people, just hanging out there. Like I remember my mother would drive me 3 towns over because that was the closest comic book shop where I was in New Jersey.
You were in fucking New Jersey. Why was there? Where the?
Yeah, it was like a 20-minute drive to the nearest comic book shop.
Oh, okay. I love it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, small
3
towns.
Over.
It was.
Well, I feel Jersey is just one large suburb. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The name changes depending on how far you drive. That's all. Otherwise, it's all the same.
That's why it's the most densely populated state in America.
Thank you, and that's today's lesson. Good night, everybody.
Do you remember when did comics switch from like the newsprint to like the more glossy color, like stock?
Oof. I mean, I have to say the 90s.
Was it in the 90s that happened? Like late 90s, right?
Early 90s? I would say
like
early.
The first X-Men.
The foil
comics,
stamps.
Like X-Men #1 was still like a newsprinty type thing. Yeah.
I'd have to think like the foil stamp stuff, that must have come with the high gloss paper must have come before that.
Yeah, maybe
right?
It was
before
right
foil stamping. And I remember foil stamping was like 1992, 93.
I feel like
maybe it was late 80s.
I don't know, because those late, I feel like all those, that was like X-Men, like 300 or something like that around there you're talking about?
Yeah.
I feel like that was still the garbagey inside. Although I kind of miss that. I kind of miss it.
The first story I think I remember reading on the glossy inside was probably like Onslaught.
Yeah. Yeah, I think around all that. Yeah, maybe I think probably was Apocalypse, Age of Apocalypse.
That was before Onslaught.
Okay, well, whatever. Doesn't matter. Who cares? The 20 teens, the teens. This was the teens, guys, and it's almost over. The decade is
all
almost
about the teens.
over.
Did our opening just click for you? It's about teens, my friends.
Oh my God! And today we're it's only best of the teens. It's about let's cue the royal music. Da 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 da. Welcome to the best of the decade. That's right, Brett and EvilJeff, that is me. We have painstakingly compiled a list of our best TV, comic, and movies, superhero and regular, of the past decade. And who was right, me or Brett? You decide.
I'm sure the list will be very different.
I know, I'm sure they're going to be exactly the same for some of them.
It's going to be a very similar format, if not the exact format of last week's Best of 2019, where we looked at the best of January to December.
Exactly. I tried really hard to be like, hey, this thing that I really loved this year, is this going to stand the test of time? And there are a few things from 2019 that was
there are a few.
Yep, it fucking will. 2019 was a really good year. It was a really fucking good year.
Yeah, I remember, 2010 to 2015, solid.
There was some good shit.
One thing I want to say about 2019. So, funny story. I said something about our Best of the Decade episode coming up on Twitter, and somebody responded, didn't I just listen to your Best of the Decade? I was like, no. That was the best of the year. This is the best of 2010 to 2019. So I just want to clear up any confusion out there. This is now the scope of 10.
Powers
some
of
good,
10.
Some bad years.
Powers of 10.
Powers of 10. X years.
Last week was House of X. This is Powers of 10. That's how that works.
That's how. Oh my God. That's actually fucking genius. But hey, speaking of Twitter, one thing I want to say about 2019, excuse me, as I cough into the microphone,
is that you're dying of consumption.
I really felt like the community, the Twitter queer community, like all the gay X-Men fans out there, I think a lot of us bonded. And I really feel that this show and us, me in particular, because I run the Twitter, was part of this weird, wonderful group of queer LGBT people who love the X-Men as much as we do, who were there through all of the House of X, Powers of 10 stuff. And one of them, actually the one who was like, didn't I just listen to your Best of the Decade? He's at Nobody by Sylvia. Hello.
Hey.
He said something very sweet and wonderful and said, hey, you and comic book queers and you get me, I've spent a lot of time listening to you guys and I love it and I hope you keep doing it and I'll never stop listening. And I love this weird little family that we've created. So I just want to say thank you to at Nobody by Sylvia, at the boys of Homo Superior X podcast, Cody at the Mutant Menace, Allison, Malicious Glee, Dazzler AOA, A. Smith Peterson, Homo Superior spelled with a 1, Revel Near, and of course, our queen, Karen X-Men fan. Thank you. And to other people I know, like Mikey and Joe and Raphael and Steve and Jamie, just thank you. I mean, it was really, it turned into a conversation. And for that, we're grateful and we love you.
Yay.
Let's get on with it.
There's people that listen.
And people that engage. It's like we're not, talking to, sure, it's 5 people. I'm sure it's those 8 people and those 8 people only. But, I don't know. I'll take them.
I love how it's still a picture of you on our Twitter.
Oh, I just think the Havoc Twitter is really funny. And it's also my way of getting your boyfriend to draw us already.
I know. Are you listening to this, Joe? Draw us.
Actually, I think I have a plan B in mind. But no, I'll put it back to us. I feel weird. I'm like, EvilJeff, go to the Twitter. Oh, don't.
That's fine.
All right. Best of the decade.
Best of the decade. What is the best? What is the best? How are we going to start? I can't remember how we did it last week. What are we going to start with?
So we did movies, TV, comic books, I believe.
I think that's.
Or let's just agree to that.
I think that sounds good.
So this time, though, we did regular movies last time. This time we're doing regular movies and regular TV. So we'll do regular comic booky. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're doing I have a top 5. For where did I put my movies? All right. So number 5. What's your number 5, Brett?
Well, I'll start because I have an honorable mention. Okay. I just want to say you didn't make the top 5, but I see you, John Wick.
Yes, changing the game,
keeping Keanu in our hearts.
The renaissance of Keanu,
and perfectly, beautifully executed. So simple, so effective. John Wick.
And then let us not speak of John Wick 2.
But 3. Masterpiece.
I still haven't seen it yet, but anyway, I'm sure it's great.
Masterpiece. Number 7.
That's your number 7? Are you serious?
No. I can't. I have to think about that. No.
Oh, okay. All right. So number 5. What's your number 5?
So my number 5 was going to be Bridesmaids, and then I realized, you know what? There's a movie a la Bridesmaids that's funnier than Bridesmaids. So my number 5 is Bachelorette, starring Kirsten Dunst.
I like that movie, but it is not better than Bridesmaids, so I don't agree with that. But I think that's a good movie, so more power to you. I think Kirsten Dunst is one of the most underrated actresses of our generation. She is genius in everything that she does, and she can do comedy and drama, and I feel like she doesn't give... And the only thing that she gets is they're like... She gets a star on the Hot Walk of Fame, and they're like, you were Spider-Man's girlfriend. It's like she gets no respect.
I know. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is actually in the horror genre. And it is a little movie called The Babadook.
Oh, queer icon. Yes.
Queer.
Get it, Baba?
Yes. Clack, 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 clack. It's directed by Jennifer Kent. I mostly, as I've said before, it's when I go to the movies, I either want to be dying laughing, vastly excited, vastly entertained, or feel like I'm seeing something I have never seen before. And The Babadook, I feel like I have never seen a horror movie done that way. Have you seen The Babadook?
Oh, yes.
I just love that it's this movie
I love it.
Where you're just like, is there a ghost? Or is she just tired? Is she just tired from being a single mom? That is the most brilliant thing where you're like, I think she's just tired because it's hard being a mom. No, maybe it is a ghost.
No, right. And then at the end, you're like, oh, I get it. The Babadook is grief.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, it's a monster.
No, it is a monster. Yeah, I loved this movie so much, and it still sticks with me. I'm very interested in her new movie that's coming out, which everybody walked out of. Apparently there's a lot of rape in it, and apparently people don't like that. I forget what it's called. But anyway, that's my number 5. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is my most recent movie on the list, and actually, having thought about it and processed this list and decisions I made in the best of 2019, my number 4 actually was my number 2 movie of 2019. I know, right? And my number 1 movie of 2019 is not even on my decade-long list. Who the hell understands this? My number 4 is Jojo Rabbit.
Aww. What was your number 1?
Us.
Oh, right. Okay. Jojo Rabbit. Yay to Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, I mean, it's Taika Waititi needs some presence in this show because his voice was one that we enjoyed so much in 2010 and in the decade. And honestly, I think Jojo Rabbit is such a masterpiece in its satire and in the unexpected emotional journey it takes you on.
Well, I'm just going to say there might be in my top 5 of the decade of superhero movies, Taika Waititi might show up more than once in mine. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Okay.
But he's not in my regular top 5. My number 4 is you talked that I feel is what is it called, an auteur, like a tour de force of a director, which my number 4 is, which is Birdman.
Ooh, okay.
Birdman. It's basically, I think it's probably 3 total takes. It's made to look like it's one long take. Once again, a renaissance of Michael Keaton, just a beauty of storytelling, a beauty of cinema. That movie just captivated me from beginning to end. Birdman. I guess that could
an ending.
Oh, I guess that could have been a superhero. That could have been a superhero one.
No.
He flies off at the end.
Does he? Does he?
Or is Emma Stone just high?
There we go.
By Alejandro. How do you say his name? Inarritu.
Inarritu. Oh, Inarritu. Yeah.
Okay. What's your number 3, girl?
My number 3 was a movie that for a good second I didn't think won Best Picture, and then thank God, cooler heads prevailed and announced that one of the most beautiful 2 hours of cinema I've ever seen, Barry Jenkins' Moonlight, won Best Picture.
Moonlight, that's definitely in like that would be in my top 10.
The top 10, yeah. I mean, just
so beautiful.
To watch the story of a character like that and to understand an adult because you watched his story as a child it's beautiful. And and queer person of color representation, just honest and unapologetic. And it was so important and it was so good.
And also the 2 adult versions of the guy characters. Oh, so hot. I will say that was the only thing at the end of that movie. I was like, make out, get to them kissing. But that was just the spoiled little bratty gay kid.
Yeah, every gay boy has that boy, right? Like the one who you just loved. And I never had the experience where that person made a move.
Oh yeah, mine that were all just unrequited tragedies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or I'm not even going to get into it. Or things that were kind of requited and then ended up in total disaster.
Moonlight was such wish fulfillment for anyone who's ever been a gay boy.
No, it was another big gay wish fulfillment movie. This is a 90s movie. Do you remember? Oh fuck. Now I can't remember. It's a British movie with like 2 like friends and then they become lovers and they have why can't I think of the name of the movie? I'm old. And their neighbor is like this girl that loves Mama Cass songs.
I don't know. Let's move on.
Okay.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Bridesmaids.
Oh my God, you hate me. I'm changing my number 5 to Bridesmaids.
For me, it was a special moment. I pretty much had just moved to LA. Came out in like 2010, I believe, right? Oh, Beautiful Thing. That was the name of the movie that I was trying to think of.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, but Bridesmaids, it was this very special moment in time for me. I had just moved to LA. I go to the Vista Theater, and on the opening day, and walking out as I'm waiting in line, high off my ass, comes out a girl crying and her friends patting her on the back going, "You were so good. Oh my God, did you hear? They loved you." It was Rose Byrne.
Get out.
And then we didn't get to that yet on the list. Then I was like, Rose Byrne. And then I'm high off my ass. I was like, that was Rose Byrne. She's in the movie. And I was like, what? And I'm like, the girl who's like the other star of the movie just walked out of the, like she saw it in the thing and she was crying because of like how everybody, like it was like such an uproarious like laughter and how everyone loved it. When I saw that movie, I was like laughing. I was crying. I love that movie. And Kristen Wiig has never done anything good since. Anyway,
I will tell you that. I will tell you this. She's not going to be good in Wonder Woman. I will tell you this. I'm changing Bachelorette to Bridesmaids just because my number 5. Just because I don't think you're so right. I don't think I've ever laughed harder in the past decade than when Maya Rudolph shit her dress in the middle of the street.
That whole scene.
Like that whole scene. Like I laughed for days. So
And the whole
All right.
air and the air.
My number 2.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is just, I mean, as far as good filmmaking goes and just energy and excitement and going back to basics, but giving us something new. My number 2 is Mad Max Fury Road.
You know what? I feel that would be on my top 5 if I ever saw it. I know. I should see it. Don't give me shit. Everyone says it's amazing.
It's amazing.
And I know it's amazing, but it's one of those movies I never got around to, and it's not something you want to watch by yourself.
There are, no way, totally watch it by yourself.
Really?
There's a handful of movies that are like movies that everyone agrees anytime it's on, you're going to watch it. You'll be fine watching it. Mad Max Fury Road is that movie for everybody. It's the common denominator.
Oh, mine is Overboard with Goldie Hawn.
Thank you. Not the shitty remake with Anna Faris. Where they switched the gender roles.
I like that one too.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Well, it made it less rapey because when you watch Overboard now, it's very rapey. My number 2 is Get Out.
Get Out.
Get Out.
You like Get Out?
You didn't like it?
Oh, actually, it's my number 1.
Get Out it's amazing. It's just amazing.
It's the best movie of the past 10 years.
And it's weird where you feel weird as a white person. I saw it in like an advanced screening at DreamWorks, and it was so weird in an audience packed, a movie theater packed, and you're just cheering the death of like white people. It was wonderful. You're like, get him! Fuck them.
I've never cheered for the death of Catherine Keener more in my life. Not since being John Malkovich.
She was such a bitch.
Get Out is just like Jordan Peele coming along and having this totally original, unique voice that matters and is satirical and like is talking about today and performances from actors who like we didn't really know about or hadn't seen in a while or didn't think they were up to it. It was just so good. And that's why Jojo Rabbit's on my list and not Us, because Get Out gets the number 1 spot and I can't have 2, Jordan. Although I might.
My number 1 is Parasite, which I just talked about a ton last week. And I know it's saying a lot to say that a movie that I just saw a couple months ago is the best movie of the decade, but I can't remember a movie that has affected me that much, that I loved that much this whole decade. Yeah.
All right, right at the buzzer, Parasite.
Right at the buzzer, just made it.
Right at the buzzer.
All right, let's talk about some superhero movies. Or supernatural, superhero, sci-fi.
Yeah, I call them genre.
Yeah.
Genre movies.
Mine is a horror, but I decided to give my number 5 to It Follows.
Oh, I love it.
Which that movie freaked me the fuck out. And the supernatural elements I felt were done really well. What about you?
I have an honorable mention of The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
But I went full superhero.
Is The Dark Knight Rises, is that the one with Bane?
No.
Or is that the one with Joker?
Oh, wait, The Dark Knight.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
What?
Do I mean The Dark Knight? Yeah, The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight Rises. Okay. So I'm not.
No,
you're
not
the dumb one. Okay, you're the dumb one.
I'm the dumb one. We knew that. I meant The Dark Knight. But my number 5, true number 5, is them Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, that's some good shit. Did not make my list, though, but it's good shit.
I mean, you walked out of that theater being like, oh shit, they did that too.
No, what's funny is that Guardians of the Galaxy was like, that's going to be garbage. That's going to be stupid. And then you watch it and you're like, fuck, that was amazing. How did they do that? My number 4 is a little movie called What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, Taika
Waititi. That movie is just amazing. It's just so funny. It's so amazing. And the fact that I saw it in my bedroom on a date, and then the guy had massive diarrhea. And so he's like, can we pause the movie?
No.
And then he went into the bathroom in my room, and I just heard him have acid diarrhea. And then he opened the door, and the whole room smelled like it. And then I had to finish watching the movie, and then he tried to have sex with me. I still love this movie. I then watched it again afterwards.
Even so, you still love this movie.
I still love that movie.
He didn't even try to make it smell fresh in there?
I think he just felt he was unaware, I guess.
Jesus Christ.
Some people are unaware that their shit smells.
I know. Yeah, people just think they shit don't stink.
What's number 3?
Someone who doesn't think they're... I didn't do number 4 yet. Someone who absolutely doesn't think their shit stinks is Charles Xavier. Luckily, he was the best part of my number 4, Logan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck.
I mean,
why would I put...
that just... Logan ripped my heart out of the chest.
Really good.
That I didn't even remember that this was an X-Men movie until that final moment where
I'm contemplating, like,
tilted.
should I switch him out somewhere? I might. I mean, there's a chance. It Follows and Logan, I could probably interchange, maybe. But
It's a tie. The moment where Daphne Keegan's Laura, X-23, tilted the cross gravestone so that it formed an X.
You cried.
I think I might have not only cried, I think I might have screamed, fuck, in the theater. I couldn't handle it. I'm tearing up right now. Amazing.
But I think I chose a lot of my middle ones are a lot more ones that are lighthearted and funny. My number 3 is Thor Ragnarok.
Yay!
TT again. Actually, I've just never had so
Absolutely.
much fun watching an action movie. It was just a joy. A joy.
I just watched it again the other night, and it's hilarious.
It's
it is
so good.
It gets... And Hulk?
Perfect.
Who knew? Who knew what we were going to do with Hulk?
The one complaint I have is them ruining the best scene of the movie in the previews of having Hulk come out. Like,
Can you imagine
if I could have
if
not
we didn't
known,
know?
and then just how Chris Hemsworth is like, yeah, when he sees that it's the Hulk. Oh, that's so good. What's your number 2?
My number 3.
Number 3. God, I just want to like.
Yeah, it's okay. Speaking of the Hulk, one of the key takeaways from this movie, I remember being, somebody has finally figured out the Hulk.
Ooh. Oh.
And I remember thinking, like, not realizing that during the movie, but it being kind of like my main reflection point and such a source of joy after the movie.
Is this the first Avengers movie?
Yes, it is.
Ooh.
My number 3 is The Avengers. Again, another movie. Anytime it's on, we're going to watch it. But the moment, let's talk about the moment where they circle the camera around the Avengers during the Battle of New York.
Right.
That moment said so, I'm crying. That moment said so much more. I'm also a bottle in.
I love
That moment made so, that moment was like, hey, you guys, this experiment we've been doing with these solo movies and this macro narrative and this whole new way of storytelling, it fucking worked. And that's what we were cheering for, was like, shit, there's been so much buildup to this moment. And here they are. And then they gave us, 30 minutes of joygasm, just like my number 1 movie did. But we'll talk about that yet. But The Avengers, it changed our lives.
Oh, Brett, are you going to be able to continue?
I don't think so. Good night, everybody.
On to my number 2. The star of this number 2 would just totally make fun of you right now, Brett. Totally turn to the camera.
Ryan. Oh, Ryan.
Yes, Ryan Reynolds. I'm talking about Deadpool. The first Deadpool movie, that fucking changed the game. It's how to do meta right. And I'm telling you right now, there is no one on this earth that could play Deadpool other than Ryan Reynolds. No one. Nobody. Perfect. The opening credits alone, like starring people's sexiest man of like 2016 or whatever that, like, it was brilliant. Plus Ryan Reynolds is on my list. Like, Joe knows this. If for any reason Ryan Reynolds was like, hey, me and Blake is not working out. I actually want to marry you, Jeff, I would have to do it. I think I would have to do it.
Oh yeah. Jeff would. My husband would be like, "Oh, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the past 15 years. Good luck. If you need a third, let me know."
So what's the number ones there? I mean, I feel like it
number
has
two.
To be...
My number two.
Right. Is your number
and I'm
two...
the drunk one.
Is your number two another Avengers movie?
You know damn well my number two is what I have said for the past 10 years is the best comic book movie ever made. And I still hold that it is the best comic book movie ever made, despite my number one.
Okay, what?
Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Oh, right. I forgot that you jizz all over that one. Yes.
It is the most well-crafted, tense thriller. It is the first of the Marvel movies that I can remember right now to embrace a subgenre or a different genre.
But it's the first one that the what's their name? The Fig Brothers did? Is it their first one? Yeah. So they kind of
the Russos.
Russos, that's what I mean. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Russo brothers. It's their first one that they did of the Marvel universe, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like the emotional peak of the Bucky and Cap story, which I can't believe. Like, the story of Bucky and Cap across this fucking trilogy in the MCU, like, I need to recognize that thing for the past 10 years. Like, serious? We had like a borderline gay bromance between Bucky and Cap that was like that well done.
Have you ever jerked off imagining that you're Bucky getting fucked by Cap?
Yeah. And he keeps calling me son.
Oh, gross. Oh my God. If anyone ever tried to call me daddy in bed, I would literally slit their throat.
I have a story. We're going to save it.
Where you slit a Chwing's throat. Anyway.
And then
number one is Avengers Endgame. Yeah. Okay.
I put Infinity War / Endgame because it is
one long.
It's like saying Kill Bill 1 versus Kill Bill 2.
Right.
You know?
But if you had to choose, I'd give it to Endgame for the final battle.
Oh, absolutely. I'm giving Infinity War Endgame best theater experience of the past 40 years.
Jesus Christ.
There's been nothing. Do you remember the last time you were in a movie and people were like standing up and freaking out and like screaming and crying?
It was pretty fun.
People screamed. Yeah. What were we doing? My whole theater the whole time was just people screaming at the screen. Like everybody was just looking at the screen going, ah! Like it was insane. I've never sobbed with joy and excitement and catharsis. Oh my God. That's the word, catharsis. That's what made this whole MCU over the past 10 years such a hit. Catharsis. That's how they locked the landing.
We did it. Movies.
Let's do TV.
Avengers. Let's just whip through real quick what our non-superhero-y sci-fi.
Yeah, let's just each do our 5. I'll go first.
So wait, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I really have? Okay, fuck. So here's the deal. The way I did this was that if it was supernatural, I'm not including it on the non-supernatural list. So this isn't like overall. I don't know how you did it.
I did the same thing. Everything on my best TV is just like straight up TV.
Okay, so number 5, I put You're the Worst. Amazing. Everyone should see it. Number 4, I put Parks and Rec. Amy Poehler, brilliant. Chris Pratt, brilliant. Number 3, I put Key and Peele. Number 2, I put Fleabag. And number 1, which is surprising to me, but I realize it's the show that I keep going and rewatching over and over again, is Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That show fucking makes me laugh.
You know, it's funny that Netflix plays such a huge role in both of our lists. Thank you, Netflix, for the past 10 years.
What are your 5?
Honorable mention to The Jinx, that HBO documentary about Robert Durst where they fucking nail him at the end with the confession.
I did it. What did he say? I did it all. What did he say?
I killed them all. What did I do, officer? I killed them all. Because I saw that shit live, and I stood up. I was like, "What the fuck just happened? Like, was that fake?"
Can you imagine the people making the documentary being like, "Well,
they must have.
We just won the fucking lottery."
Oh my god!
What's your other 5?
So my top 5 are: number 5 is Big Mouth.
It's great.
Number
I love
4
it.
is American Vandal.
Oh, that's so good too. Love it. Wow, you are Netflix.
Number 3 is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Love it. That's amazing too. Although this new season I'm not too crazy about. But go ahead.
I'm only 2 deep. Number 2 is Veep.
Veep was definitely an honorable mention.
I watch supercuts on YouTube of the insults from Veep anytime I feel down.
Yeah.
And my number 1 is Fleabag.
Oh, Fleabag. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Comic book genre. I'm sorry. Genre TV.
Genre TV. This one, we had to do a top 10 because there was a lot of good shit. A lot of good shit. And this is how good the shit is. My number 10 was Legion, which is amazing.
Oh, fuck. That's my number 8.
That's my number 10 is Legion. Legion is great. What is your number 10?
So my honorable mention is The Good Place, and my number 10 is Black Mirror.
You know what? I'll say my honorable mention is Black Mirror. Just San Junipero. I don't like a lot of Black Mirror, so I couldn't put the whole show because there's a lot that I hate, and then every once in a while there's ones that I love. So I felt it was too divisive for me.
My number 3 falls under this category as well of like love-hate, but I'm just thankful for the experience. But let's keep going. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the Teenage
Witch. We're so similar. My number 9 is Stranger Things.
Oh, okay. My number 8 is Stranger Things.
And my number 8 is Legion.
Stranger Things season 1. I really haven't really liked the last 2 seasons that much, but that first season, I watched that. I binged it in 2 days, like overnight, where I was just like mesmerized, being like, "This is my childhood telling this amazing story." Yeah, and then they ruined it.
And Sabrina's like, to me, it's the new Buffy. It's just like a gang of kids, and I love.
But there is something else that filled a Buffy hole that actually got higher on the list for me. And then, okay, so my number... Wait, what did you say? What's your number 8 was Legion?
Legion.
My number 7, and yours is probably higher. And I will say this is one time where it hasn't sunk in enough yet. It hasn't sunk in enough yet. But the fact that
you're going to say Watchmen?
Yes. The fact that it's the best of the decade, I think, because I literally just watched the last episode last night, I think it should be very happy that it made it to number 7. Maybe over time it might move up higher. The final episode of Watchmen was transcendent and amazing, and I think that's it. He says he's not going to do anymore, that it's over, which is heartbreaking to me. But the way that show ended, I almost don't want another season. How do you feel?
We'll talk about that later. My number 7 is a 3-way tie.
That's cheating. All right.
No, they're related.
It's fine.
It's Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Daredevil.
Okay. Well, where's the Iron Fist and the Defenders?
If we would have done worst, it would have been there. And Defenders. Out of those 3, my jam is Luke Cage. But all of them complemented each other and built this world, and I was thankful for the Netflix Marvel shows.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
My number 6 is a guilty pleasure, you could call it. It's a show called The Vampire Diaries. That show lasted for 8 fucking...
I love it.
It lasted for 8 fucking seasons.
I've never seen a minute. I can't believe it.
Here's what was great. It knew the formula. It had the Buffy formula down, which was every season a different main character would turn evil. Because the one thing with vampires is and the way it was brilliant, they just turned all the normal people to vampires really fast. So people either became witches or vampires. They're like, no more humans. The humans are dumb. They're boring. So it was like, oh, you're a vampire already? Yay! And vampires have a thing where you can turn off your emotions. And that's why they become evil. So they don't have to ever feel hurt. But when you do that, you turn evil. So every season, a different character, good guy, was evil. And that was the big bad. And I fucking love that show. And it ended really good.
That's great.
What's your number 6?
My number 6 is good old Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's longest running TV show. I mean, especially... there's some key moments that I think will always live with me is just good marveling. And I've enjoyed the show. You know, it's had its ups and downs. Like there's some episodes where I was bored out of my mind. But I will always be eternally grateful for the characters of Fitz and Simmons. I think those are great classic characters who took us through some journeys that I will never forget.
Oh. My number 5 is something you don't watch. Can you guess what it is?
Oh, no.
It's a cartoon.
Runaways? She-Ra.
Rick and Morty.
Oh, that's right.
Rick and Morty is just brilliant. I will say this latest season, I'm not feeling as much. But it's up there. And I still just want to fucking... Maybe I should pick an episode and make you fucking watch it. If I can find the right episode to get you hooked on it.
My office is closed between Christmas and New Year's. I'll just fucking binge Rick and Morty.
Just binge it for me, and read the Runaways. Read the Runaways trades.
I will do both of those things. In fact, I put the Runaways trades on my Christmas wish list.
Yay!
I'm
hoping someone is getting me the House of X, Powers of X. I'm not buying it because I'm hoping.
Oh, that's on there too.
For Christmas.
Me too.
Christmas.
Me too. And if they don't, I'll freak out.
What's your number 5?
Oh, my number 5 is our old favorite, The Magicians.
Oh, you had it at number 5? Guess someone's not
a
fan. No, I'm just kidding. Mine's a bit higher on the list, but yeah, Magicians, it's amazing. And I just read the latest comic of it. I'm really digging this comic. Did you read issue 2 yet?
Excellent. Oh, yeah, I did.
I'm liking it.
Yeah, they have to cover up the girl's death.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Number 4 could have been higher. Maybe at one time, maybe a couple years ago, would have been an easy number 1. And then the last season happened. So, but for all those other amazing seasons, I'm giving Game of Thrones my number 4 spot.
Excellent.
Did you watch Game of Thrones?
I was in and out of it. I wasn't a diehard fan, but I checked in with it, and I knew enough.
What's your number 4?
I didn't care for it. I don't like shows about power. So anything like organized crime or royalty or politics, I kind of can't stand it.
So you don't like Succession on HBO?
No, that's a little thing about me. Any show that's about people trying to get power over other, I'm so uninterested because I'm like, we're going to die one day. Just live your life.
What if it's like sexual power?
Oh, then I love it. My number 4 is the best show Marvel put out.
Okay.
Agent Carter.
Oh yeah, I still haven't watched it.
I'm rewatching season 1 on Disney Plus, and I stand firm in my choice of number 4 of the decade.
Okay.
And is the number 1 Marvel thing on my list.
Ooh.
It is. Did you ever watch Moonlighting?
Oh, with Sybil Shepherd? I loved it. And what's his name? Bruce Willis. I loved it.
Agent Carter is Moonlighting, but it's Marvel and it's set in the 40s. But it's just
who's the Bruce Willis character?
Jarvis.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Do they fuck? But they're not attracted to each other.
No, they're not. They're not. So there's without the sexual element. No,
I'm out.
It's about a man and a woman who like to bicker, solving mysteries. It's so you would love Agent Carter because it's all about the SSR, which was before S.H.I.E.L.D. It was the SSR. Mm-hmm. So it was all about that. It's about Howard Stark. It's about Jarvis.
What are you saying about me? I'm just kidding.
You love it. You love the SSR.
Okay, my number 3.
If nothing else, if there's no other takeaway from the past 10 years, everybody who's listening, all 8 of you, just fucking watch Agent Carter, for fuck's sake.
Come on, you all have Disney Plus. You all have Disney Plus. You have no excuse. I probably won't watch it. But anyway, my number 3 is The Magicians, which is...
Oh, what fun.
It's my favorite magic show. My favorite fantasy show. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is the show I referred to earlier, where there's a lot that I loved, but there's a whole lot that I hate. But honestly, I am just so thankful for its existence.
Okay.
And for the journey. And for the teasers, which are the best part of every season. American Horror Story.
Oh, how dare you! Ah! I'm ending this podcast. Number 2, Brett.
Number 3.
Oh, it's number 3.
It's 3.
Okay, because I'm going to take a number 2 on your number 3.
That's the best show ever. Fuck you.
Did you watch 1984?
Every minute.
I stopped watching it. It was so bad.
I know, it was pretty bad, but I watched every minute.
Oh, God. All right. Fine. My number 2, I need to move on from this travesty. My number 2 was, I think this was this your honorable mention? But mine is The Good Place.
Yay.
It's just Megan Amram, I think, is the funniest television writer out there right now.
Ever.
And everything, I mean, because her Parks and Rec, which she was one of the main writers on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
She's just so fucking funny. And that show is so brilliant. And just recently, I don't know if I brought this up with you, but my man's brother came to visit, and we were just scrolling through Netflix, and he's like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "That's The Good Place. It's good." And I was like, "Here, I'll watch the first episode with you." We binged just with him. I binged like 7 episodes in a row, and then 2 days later, I was like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "I haven't slept. I just watched all of The Good Place." Like, he couldn't stop watching it. Like, that show is just so good, and the twist with Ted Danson.
It's the best twist in television ever.
Yes. So good.
Not since Newhart.
And then, so what is your... Okay, I'm excited to... Because I feel like if your number 1 is not my number 1, I feel like you fucked up and forgot. So I'm really curious. I'm really curious. So what's your number 2? Okay, what's your number... If your number 2
It's Watchmen.
Okay. All right.
It's Watchmen.
We made it all the way to number 2. It just ended last Sunday. No, I will not begrudge you. I will not begrudge you for that at all. American Horror Story, I begrudge you.
The Watchmen has been so bastardized since its release and misinterpreted. I'm looking at you, Zack Snyder, and
that DC
it
one
was
sounds
embraced.
awful.
Yeah, it was embraced by people who didn't get it, and kind of the people it was talking about. And for David Lindelof to come along and take it back into kind of like what I felt was its original voice was very meaningful for this comic book fan, and I appreciate it.
It's brilliant. Know what it's made me realize?
Can we? Yeah.
I've never seen The Leftovers, and since he did that, I really need to see.
Me neither.
I think I need to watch it. Yeah. Is Regina King in The Leftovers?
Yes.
Oh, oh, well, I'm totally watching The Leftovers now. Plus, it has Justin Theroux, who used to be my like number 1 crush.
He's swinging like Aaron Taylor Johnson is swinging.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have the same number 1. Let's say it at the same time.
All right. Well, I would say Justin Theroux. Justin Theroux is a connecting point to it. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Twin Peaks: The Return.
The Return. I mean, just it could be best movie for me. The 5th episode could be best movie of the decade. It was a thing unbeknownst of anything I have ever seen before.
It was my whole life.
You have like your favorite director, and then you're like, oh, he's going to go and do this. Can he pull it off? And I'm watching it being like, it gets better and better and better.
Even the ending, which was disappointing in the moment,
But it's what it needed to be. But it's what it needed to be.
Yeah, he gave us the ending we wanted at the end of the penultimate episode.
And then he gave us the ending we needed.
Right, exactly. He gave us the ending of the show that he created.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful to have that back and to have it be so unexpected. And it is the best exercise in surrealism I've ever seen. Yeah. Better than any of his other films. Better than
And I will tell anyone, like, if you really want to study how to do comedic farce, watch a David Lynch movie. If you want to study how to do horror, watch a David Lynch movie.
Yeah.
Like, his horror is on point. He can scare the fuck out of you with simple things. Like, it's just, he's so
all he has to do is, like, throw a strobe light on Cheryl Lee, who played Laura Palmer, and ask her to scream, and I am terrified.
Exactly. Oh,
right, TV. Thank you, Twin Peaks. You were the highlight of the past 10 years.
And here we are now with some comics.
Oh my God. All right.
This was hard.
Honorable mention.
It was hard because
I have 3 honorable mentions.
Well, this was the thing. My problem was I had an easy top 3, but I couldn't figure out. I had too many to narrow down to round out the top 5. I was having trouble, but I did it.
Okay.
And I had one writer made it twice on the list.
Mine too. In fact, yeah, we'll get there.
You go first this time.
Yeah, my honorable mention is Matt Fraction's FF, and my number 5 is Jason Aaron's The Mighty Thor, the story, mostly the saga around Jane Foster's Thor character. It pulled me in. Cancer. And I sure did. Yeah, I sure did love that character. Yeah, I was. It was a good run.
My number 5 is the latest of the Runaways. It's
great.
Just
Rainbow Rowell.
Yeah, it's just solely character driven, and it's not and they're just letting her let it be that, and it's basically like a teen soap. It's like a CW. It's like a good CW. Well, no, CW sucks. It's what CW wants to be. And it's so sad that this is so good, and the TV show Runaways is so bad.
I know. It's, yeah.
All right,
you should have Rainbow Rowell write it. My number 4 is Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force.
That's my number 3.
Oh!
You have to remember, Psylocke is my favorite character. And this was the first time, when I was reading it, it was like, she's the central character in this. Like, it took me a while to realize that she was the main character.
Yeah.
And it was about her and Angel's love. And it was like, no one ever gave a shit to, like, make her the central character in a story before. And it was like, oh, thank you!
So great.
It was so good. I just, from the opening, was it the first issue where they kill Apocalypse Child? Or is it the second issue?
Yeah, I don't remember, but early.
But they when Phantom X murders that kid.
Shoots him in the head.
It's like, and they're all like, "What?" Like, you're like, "Oh, they're not fucking around." And I will say, the previous run of X-Force was really good too. What are their names?
Oh God, it was so good. Yeah, it was Kyle and Yost. Yeah,
I love that too. Did that go into the teens, or was that all? That was all before, though, right? Wasn't it?
Ooh, I want to say it was all before, but that's a good question.
It might have gone a little bit into 2010.
Like, was Necrotia like towards the end? Like, was that 2010?
Yeah, because Necrotia did happen on the island, on the what's it called, Utopia. Which then was
yes.
Okay, so but that's still the good stuff really happened in the decade before. But yeah, I love it. My number 4 was Paper Girls, which I've talked ad nauseum about. Brian K. Vaughan, and I will say, and I'm going to give an honor. I would put Private Eye. I'm going to give that an honorable mention. It's another Brian K. Vaughan comic, but I was like, I can't fucking just do all Brian K. Vaughan comics. You fucking fucker. Anyway.
Fucks. My number 3 is Tom King's The Vision.
I knew you were going to put that up there. I still need to read it.
Because I love it.
I need to read it. Great. Everyone says it's amazing.
Good.
I know.
You better read it before the TV show version comes out called WandaVision.
It has Victor from Runaways in it. So I really would like to.
Yes.
And a lot of the fallout from what they do to him is in the Runaways comic.
It's great.
Because
what I love?
He just gets delivered as a head.
Yeah. You know how you love like two people who hate each other and then they start fucking and then they fall in love?
This is, but it's robots?
No. No. Okay. My jam, like my thing on that is and robot fucking. But there's no horny element to this. It is, I fucking love, which is why I love the movie Pleasantville. I love when like everything is like so nice and utopia like, and we're all so happy. And then there's like creeping sense of dread, cracks. The smiles are like too tight. Like, oh, I love that shit. That's my shit. That's my shit. And that's Vision.
That sounds great. Love it.
So what's your number 3?
Well, no, you go first.
Oh, that was my number 3, Vision.
Wait, my number 3 was X-Force.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay. My number 2, and we're going to have the same author, same writer in 2 and 1, because my number 2 is Infinity/Secret Wars by Hickman.
Right.
When Secret Wars happened, I loved that. I was hating on Marvel books. I was so bored with Marvel after Secret Wars ended because I loved that whole line-wide change of like these weird pocket universes. I loved that.
I didn't care for it, really.
Oh, I loved it so
I liked the main
much.
story. Like the main story I liked, but all the side universes were annoying to me.
Oh, I loved it so much. And I loved that like it started as an Avengers story, but it ended as a Fantastic Four story and really was just such a great bow on everything Hickman had done on both those books. But Infinity was pulse pounding. It was a great, great event book. And Secret Wars was just, it was like being in a candy store.
Wow. Was that your number 2?
2.
Oh. My number 2 is a little thing, which is your number 1, I'm assuming, is House of X, Powers of 10.
What the fuck is your number 1?
Well, the thing is, it's only 5 issues, and I had to give it a number 1 to something that's like 50 issues. I had to give it to 50 issues of greatness versus...
Yep.
I mean, we're not gonna. We'll wait till you get to your number 1. My number 1 is Saga by Brian K. Vaughan.
Yep.
It's one of the best written things I've ever read in my life. It's so good, and he tears your heart out. He will make you love a character and kill it, but not in a horrible way, like what's his name in Walking Dead. The deaths aren't there to just rip. They're there. They serve a purpose to the story and to the plot. And they're not just there to like as a way to like fuck with you. But it's just the best storytelling, and it's I just can't wait when this is made into television. I think people are just holding off on it because it's going to be so fucking expensive.
Oh, but yeah. No, and my number 1 is House of X, Powers of 10. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like, it was a real close, but it was just, Saga just has way more.
Yeah, Saga
has way more issues in it for me to.
But House of X, Powers of 10 has Emma Frost busting into a courtroom in a fine fur. So.
It has Moira McTaggart changing the entire X-Men universe. It's that it will never be the same.
Oh my God. Russell Dodderman, the guy who draws the covers of Marauders, who drew the Mighty Thor.
Yeah.
He drew a Santa hat on Emma from the Marauders #2 cover, where they're like her and Shaw back to back.
Yeah.
And he just wrote "Merry Christmas, everybody," and it was just a headshot of Emma with a Santa hat on from that cover.
Oh my God. Emma Frost. We did it.
Those are our lists. Yeah. Yeah, let's get into some individual categories.
Are we gonna do? Let's go to the worst, so we can end with
the worst. You don't want to celebrate the worst,
right? So let's talk about the worst sci-fi superhero type movie of the past decade.
I'd love to.
What did you decide was the worst superhero movie of the last decade?
I picked this movie for 3 reasons. It's garbage, it's trash, and it's rubbish. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Never even saw it.
What a pile of shit.
Yeah.
It's not even, there was no narrative arc. There was nothing made sense. It was like 12 people made this movie, but they all shared the shitty aesthetic. It was so bad.
I only saw pieces of it. I was getting tested, and it was the movie playing in the waiting room, but it was like playing halfway through. And I remember watching it, being like, "What is happening?" I was like, "This is like all over the place. This looks awful."
For somebody, I hate Zack Snyder more than you could possibly imagine. I'm sorry, I hate his work. For somebody,
you can hate him. It's fine.
To think that the epiphany that both Batman and Superman's mother's name is Martha is like this grand, cracked open the whole goddamn genre. Like, I know you were going for a moment of like, oh my God.
Wait, are they the same person?
No, it's like there's a scene where Batman is about to kill Superman. He's like kryptonite choking him or whatever. And the reason Superman is acting up is because like somebody's kidnapped, I think Lex Luthor has kidnapped his mother, Martha Kent. Now you have, and granted, it's a connection not many people have made. You have Batman, who's, Batman because of the death of his mother, Martha Wayne. So while Batman is about to kill Superman, Superman goes, I have to save Martha. And Batman goes, what did you just say? And that's how they end their fight. That's how they end their fight when they realize that both are
the same thing. Are you serious? This is a joke.
Both their mothers. That's a joke. Both their mother's
There's
name.
like more to it.
I mean, both their mothers' names are Martha, and that's what they bonded on.
That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard.
Now, I'm being petty. Really, what it is like he said the word Martha, which it's so weird that somebody would all of a sudden, it would be like me saying, I have to save Linda, and you'd be like, who? I'd be like, my mother. So he's like, I have to save Martha. And Batman stops. He goes, what did you just say? And then like Superman like hits him and he's like, I have to save my mother. Her name's Martha. And that's what gets Batman to help him.
That's all right. That's garbage.
Like you're going for this reaction of like, whoa, but no.
As I basically just watched it while being like, hope I don't have chlamydia. And you know what? I feel like I would rather go in and get chlamydia than be forced to actually watch the entire movie. Mine, I will say, is almost a cheat. Was there a rule that we had to watch the whole movie? I couldn't finish this movie because it was so bad.
Oh, shit. Oh, no, there's no rule.
It is the movie version of The Last Airbender.
Oh, I never.
I was like,
That's
let me just start.
Right?
Yeah. And I just don't even want to talk about it. It's like the show. Well, no, I would say it's the Showgirls of a sci-fi fantasy movie. But Showgirls at least is entertaining to watch. It was like, he's like, let me take the most boring choice at every opportunity. And yeah, it was awful. Anyway, I think most people agree with me. How about television?
I know I do.
I'm hoping that we both have the same worst TV show. I'm really hoping we do.
Yeah, you know what?
Because I feel like we talked about it a lot.
Yeah, so I'm just going to ask my friend here. Lockheed, teleport to EvilJeff. Tell him what the worst TV show of the past decade was. Then make sure you grab a pen. Teleport back to me. Bring the pen to me so I could write Medusa a note that says, help.
No, but you can't because Medusa shaved her head because we can't afford the CGI.
Miss me with Inhumans.
Inhumans, worst TV show. It was like, and I feel like it was the nail. It's also, but I do appreciate it because it was the nail in the coffin to Marvel TV. I would like to think, and it was the nail in the TV of having the Inhumans take over the X-Men. Can you believe that was an actual plot that was happening in the Marvel world? They were like, "Fuck the X-Men. We'll just make Inhumans a thing."
Right.
We make Guardians of the Galaxy work. We can make the Inhumans.
We're gonna take the X-Men off all of our merchandising, like T-shirts and stuff. We're gonna replace them with other characters.
And I felt that was one of the worst grievances done in the comic book world in this past decade. And maybe that might have something to do with
our worst comic book series.
Or do we have the same worst comic of the decade?
Of course we do.
The comic that ruined the character of Emma Frost. That
Inhumans
took years.
Versus X-Men.
I included Death of X, all of it.
What a
to
dark
end.
period.
Ugh.
What a dark fucking period that was.
Fuck you.
God.
Fuck you. Ugh. Who wrote that?
I blocked it out.
Yeah. Fuck them. How dare you? Fuck you, Inhumans. There's only, I think Ms. Marvel is the only Inhuman I like.
Yeah. Karnak was kind of like ruined in the past decade. I used to like him, the guy that like saw flaws and everything.
Yeah, they were all.
But then they were like, let's turn him into he'll be the new Wolverine.
Yeah, fuck that. Ugh. All right, but enough of the bad. Let's talk about some of the good. And we're gonna end this with our favorite.
Hey, oh my God! Wait!
What?
Inhumans versus X-Men was Charles Soule.
What? You know what? We were fooled. I think Charles Soule did like 2 good things, and we thought he was the second coming of Christ, and we didn't realize he did like 1 million awful things. I think we hate Charles Soule.
We sure do.
And now that I know he wrote that, he's dead to me. You're dead to me.
Yep. You're done. Goodbye.
You had a really good
with this decade.
What was that? That Search for Wolverine? You got that. I'll give you that one. Is that what that was called?
You liked that?
What was the one with Daredevil?
Oh yeah, with Cypher.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that whole thing was stupid.
You liked it. Don't try to backtrack now. Listen to you.
But like looking back on the whole Wolverine event, like
that was all
such crap.
You know what it was? I'm going to bring back this word just this one time. It was really gay. And I mean gay as in bad.
You're horrible.
I know. Okay, so
You're
now
terrible, Mario.
You're terrible, Mario. And speaking of that, we have to go right into my favorite performance from a movie. Because that literally, it's Mario. And I'm giving it to, it's a tie.
We didn't do worst comic book character. Was that something we were doing?
What?
Worst comic book character?
Oh, worst comic book character. I don't think we did.
Was that a thing?
No, that wasn't a thing of the last one. Did we do that? Did we do it?
No, proceed.
Okay. Well, who was your worst comic book character?
Superman. And I'll talk about why when it gets.
You know what? But that's okay. I like it because Brian Bendis. Fuck you. It sucks. So
He sucks too. You know what? Charles Soule and Brian Michael Bendis. We don't want you in the next decade. We don't want you.
Retire. We're done with you. Take a powder. Okay. Take a long walk off a short pier. Make like
you were saying
horse shit and hit the trail. I'm sorry. Best performance. It's a tie. Well, I want to give an honorable mention to Natalie Portman in Black Swan because when I saw that, like I was like, this is everything. Like she's full tilt boogie crazy, and I love it. But I didn't know how much that was sci-fi fantasy since it was all just in her head. But anyway, I am giving it as a tie to Robert Downey Jr. Just overall, the way he basically carried the entire Marvel universe by his sheer charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. And then the other person I'm giving to is just the tour de force of Toni Collette in Hereditary. It's one of my she should have won. She should have been nominated for an Oscar, and it was a tragedy that she was not nominated last year for an Oscar. It's one of the greatest. It's such a great performance. Did you see Hereditary?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
I mean, there was just like 10 different moments where I'm like, if you chose that scene to nominate her for an Oscar, she could win. And because it was a horror movie and a fantasy, sci-fi, whatever, like they felt that doesn't count. Well, how dare you?
Well, it happened to Lupita for us and the Golden Globes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she deserved too. Yeah. I can't believe she didn't get nominated for anything, did she?
No.
That's bullshit. Bullshit.
Genre bias.
All right, who were your best performances? I feel like you would say Robert Downey Jr. too.
Absolutely. Robert Downey Jr. I struggled between Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and Ryan Reynolds because all three, it was an amazing phenomenon in the past decade. All three kind of became their characters in real life.
Yeah.
Chris Evans turned into kind of this Captain America, like pro-human rights voice and sticking up for what's right and ethics. And Ryan Reynolds, like just he lived in our real world as Deadpool, it seemed like. But really the person who truly became Tony Stark. Who led us through the past decade was Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the best decade of my life because of the MCU. And that's because of Robert Downey Jr.
But did you get married in the 2000s?
Yeah, 2008.
Oh, okay. So, but that garbage, who cares?
That's not what we're here to talk about.
Okay, well, how about some television?
You're going to hate me.
If you say something from American Horror Story, I will murder you.
It's Sarah Paulson.
How dare you? How very dare you? How very dare you? No! I mean, Sarah Paulson is great. All right, she's a good actress. At least she's a good actress. But for that...
She nailed 9-10 different characters over the past 10 years of American Horror Story.
No, her British accent was appalling in the Roanoke.
So funny. It was so funny that she was, here's some Burberry for your head. After someone got shot.
Shut up. That made no... Oh, and then she shot... don't even get me started.
Look, there are two people who piggybacked me through the past 10 years, and those two people were Robert Downey Jr. and Sarah Paulson.
It's a good thing you were in New York. I would slap the shit out of you. All right. I had to give mine as a tie. And I only gave it as a tie because it was, once again, this one is too new. It's too new. And so there's another person that just gave season after season of amazingness. So I had to split the difference and give it to them both. One is Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
Just the best portrayal of she's basically the evil Emma Frost, and every scene she did, it was just pure evil gold, and I ate it all up. I loved it. It was her and then Regina King. I know it, but it just happened. But I'm still just in awe of that performance. How about you?
Wait, for TV?
Well, I guess. Oh yeah, you did Sarah Paulson. See, I blocked it out. Blocked it out.
You blocked it out.
I already blocked it out. I was like, now do the real one, Brett.
Okay, if I had to do the best TV performance, it'll go to Kyle MacLachlan for playing 3 different versions of Dale Cooper on Twin Peaks: The Return.
Fuck, that's really good too. Yeah.
Evil Dale, Good Dale, and Dougie.
How about we do a best comic book character? And that's the thing, is I feel like you're going to wimp out, and I decided to go bold. I didn't want to do the obvious thing that our listeners are going to expect of me. But did you, Brett? Did you?
Yeah, because you know what? I thought about this.
Is it Emma Frost, Brett?
No, it's not.
I didn't do Emma Frost either. I felt that was too easy for us.
Too easy. This is deep. Buckle up. So, superheroes dominated this decade. And what is a superhero? Like, what is a superhero supposed to be? It's supposed to be somebody who we look up to. His is our ideal selves, who is courageous and brave and has a moral compass and does the right thing no matter what. That's a hero. And the reason Superman was my worst hero was because the teens had the audacity to turn him into this insensitive, emotionless, cold alien monster who didn't represent the ideals of a superhero.
Wait, you heard the latest news with him too, right?
What?
He admitted he's Clark Kent. And they're officially ending, and they're saying they're not changing it back. That there's no secret identity anymore. It's
a mess. And the worst part about it is certainly in movies, the idea of Superman and the idea of the superhero was bastardized into this jerk just like the rest of us. But one character stood above the rest, and as cheesy as he is, said, I stand for something, I believe in something, I have ideals, I have ethics, and those are unwavering. And no matter what, I'm going to do what I feel is right. And that's a superhero. And that was Captain America.
Even when he turned evil? How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a juxtaposition story, right?
Did you like that?
No, I thought it was crap. But the reason we had such a horrible, visceral reaction to that was we felt betrayed, like to our core, because this is the guy that every other hero on the planet, like every other hero in the genre, at some point, got dark, right? But when Cap went dark, we weren't cool with it at all. And it was during a time where fucking Nazis have infiltrated our government. And it's important that we look to Captain America and remember what the fuck it is we're doing here. And what superheroes are supposed to be. And when superheroes mean the most to us. There we go. I don't want to prescribe, but
you did.
We all know that when a superhero is the better than us version of us, that's a good superhero. And that's Cap.
Okay. I stand by that. Mine was more, you decided to go for this is what America needs is the best comic book character of the decade.
Yeah.
I went purely personal of like what I needed.
Oh, I love it.
And it was the only moment this whole time where my voice wavered a bit and I got emotional was Rick Remender's X-Force talking about Psylocke finally being given her due. And this was, I feel, the first decade where she was not only given her due with X-Force, so minus Psylocke, obviously, but then they decided to right her wrong.
Yes.
And make her two separate characters and let the Asian character be Asian and the white character be white. And not only be white, but make her fucking Captain Britain. I feel she has been one of the most wrong characters. They killed her off. They kept changing her powers. When I feel Chris Claremont, was she originated by Chris Claremont or by not Grant Morrison, by what's his name?
Claremont.
But who, what's the guy who wrote Captain Britain, who wrote Watchmen? What's his name?
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore was the first one to really dig into Psylocke's character. And then when Chris Claremont decided to bring her back, he gave her this whole metamorphosis and evolution. And then everyone just kind of just threw it off to the side. Jim Lee was like, you're just sexy Asian. You're just sexy Asian. You're going to hit on Cyclops. And then they just kept killing her off and bringing her back. And finally in the teens, they're like, no, she's an amazing character. Let her be a fucking amazing character. And I'm so happy for it.
So it's so funny. I just bought the True Believers issue. It's like a reprint of an old issue. that was just released of Betsy Braddock's first appearance.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And she
doesn't have the purple hair
um,
yet, I think, in the first one, right?
No, she's kind of blonde, but she's kind of brunette too. Like the coloring is really weird. And it's Captain Britain fighting. Oh, fuck. I can't remember. I'll talk about it next episode. But she's kind of taken over by someone like mind control.
Yeah.
And she tries to kill Captain Britain.
I have the whole omnibus. It's an omnibus of everything with Captain America, including the X-Men stuff, like the X-Men annuals and stuff like that, but all the way from the beginning.
Captain Britain.
Captain Britain, that's what I mean, yeah. Love it. I think that we're going to end it now. We've come to the end with one last category.
One last one.
And that is, what is the moment of the decade? And I scrambled because when it came to 2019, it was so easy. It was so easy. But then I was like, what can beat 2019 for moment of the decade? Because I chose Moira McTaggart, issue 2 of House of X, the moment where we realized that she was a mutant. And Brett, did you come up with something better for the decade?
EvilJeff, I'm going to have to go with my answer from 2019.
I am too. I couldn't think of anything better. I went and searched and looked. That is the most.
Really tried.
It's the most groundbreaking thing of the decade, and it just happened a few months ago.
Well, keep in mind, mine was not Moira.
What do you mean?
My moment was not Moira.
I thought yours was issue 2.
No, mine was the portals opening in Endgame.
Oh, right. Oh,
the return of the heroes in Endgame. I am crying right now. There was nothing like that ever. Nothing. There was nothing, and nothing will ever be like that ever again. That was the peak of my life. That was it. That was like as far as me feeling feelings, that was the peak. It's all downhill from here till I'm dead.
Wow. That's pretty intense.
The Curious Life of Moira McTaggart and Avengers Endgame on your left. I mean, they ended the decade, but they defined the decade.
And that's why I'm going to have to say, when it comes to television, movies, comics, I hate to break it to you, but 2019 won.
It was so good, you guys.
Like 2019 won by a landslide.
2019 was a garbage year for every other reason except for comic book movies and TV.
I think it's because everything around us is falling apart that people are like, I need a fantasy. I need an escape. So the escapes are getting better because the real world is getting worse. All right. Well, we're going to go kill ourselves now.
Okay. Or binge watch Marvel movies on Disney Plus.
Yes, welcome to 2020. Are you done work yet? Are you off for the rest of the month? Oh,
no.
Okay.
No. Work will shut down pretty much on the 20th. When you're listening to this, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, Ooh. I am. How about you?
I have till Friday. And then I'm done. Is that the 20th? Yeah, that's the 20th.
I love it. Hey, can we end this episode with a song? Can we play a little music at the end of this one?
Thank you for being a friend. Wait, what do you want to do?
Do you know how Endgame starts with that? What's that song?
Like a famous song?
Yeah, it is. And it perfectly defined the decade, and it perfectly defined how we, the role the MCU played in our lives during these and the role of all comic book movies and TV played in these dark, horrible times.
Dear Mr. Fantasy?
To that point, Dear Mr. Fantasy.
Are we allowed to play that? Will we get in trouble?
I mean, we'll take it down if we do.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
It's fine.
Sounds good.
Don't tell anybody, listeners. But tell us on Twitter what your favorite moments, movies, TV, books.
And tell us, who did you think had it more right, me or Brett?
Yeah, tell us who you think was more right.
Pit us against
Keep in mind, I changed my bachelorette to bridesmaids.
I know. You were trying to be cool. You're like, I'm going to be cool. You're like, no.
See, that's what happens when you try to impress people.
Just be real.
Just be real. Guys, 2020, just be real. And remember, this is going to be true for the next 10 years. If you read comics, well, that makes you queer. Thank you so much.
Happy 2020. Bye, 2010s.
Make it snappy. You are the one who can make us all laugh. But doing that, you break out in tears. Please don't be sad if it was a straight line you had.